Oh my gosh. Well, y'all know, got a little sinuses going on here today, but we are still in the building. And so, welcome to our second book reading, our community book club, sponsored by. Oh, we ain't ready yet? Okay. Y'all know I act like I'm a professional with this, sonny. To the side on that door there with the kids. No, I was talking about your hair. No, I'm talking about right there on your boot. Let them in. But make sure you turn it down so it don't. Come on in the room. Come on. Come on in. Welcome to the book club. Come on. Did y'all leave Jeremiah? Where's Jeremiah at? That's saying I can't talk to you now. Oh, I ain't. You see me? What I'm doing? I'm chilling. Oh, okay, good. Well, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope that everyone is having an amazing day so far. We are here at Mo's and D's where we are having our second community club sponsored by LMG, which stands for Louds Media Group. This is a vision that Fonte has, and we are now seeing it come to fruition. And so we are excited about our book reader for today. So thank you all for coming out. Again, we are going to get started with Tonya Parker, and I'm going to introduce her, and then I'm going to get right out of her way. Before I do that, though, I do want to let you know that this is a community book club where different authors from any area, close, near, far, can come here and read their book where we can have open discussion about the book. So if you don't have the book, you can purchase the book. So with that being said, if you do not have Tonya Parker's book, you can purchase it on Amazon. She also has some books here at Mo's and D's that you may purchase tonight. Cash is good. If you don't have cash, then you can cash app her at $, 1976 Smiley. Or you can go to Amazon, as I said before, and purchase it. So, Tonya Parker is a devoted woman of faith with a passion for empowering, encouraging, and inspiring women who feel bound by life's challenges. She has made a profound impact on women who are often misunderstood, underrepresented, broken, or lost. Tonya is a proud mother of 3 incredible adult children and a loving grandmother of 4. She is also the author of Evolve Black Girl, an ordained minister, motivational speaker, advocate, and successful business owner. Her radiant smile, compassionate heart, and unwavering love for Jesus Christ have been the driving force behind her resilience, strength, and courage to overcome life's trials. Through sharing her story, Tonya strives to help young women discover their inner strength, build confidence, and reclaim their identity, empowering them to move forward despite pain, brokenness, or loss. Now I introduce you to Tonya Parker.
Thank you, Nataki. I'm excited about this night, and I appreciate y'all. As I was reflecting this morning, I was like, wow, first of all, I would never thought that I would ever write a book. I want that to be said tonight. You could have told me I was going to write a book, and I was going to tell you no. That's not me. I'm not a writer. But 2020 came and, COVID. So it brought some things where we was just shut in and got to just lay before God, right, and find out, what he wants. And so here is the fruit from being in his presence. And it was launched in September of 2020. And so, first of all, I also want to just thank y'all because it's a Thursday night. It's cold, and y'all, came and sacrificed your time. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started. So, of course, the name of the book is Evolve Black Girl, Overcoming Trauma, Teen Motherhood, and Homelessness. Read the introduction. Okay, y'all, it's going to be a ride, so I just want to put that disclaimer out there. It's my truth. It's real and raw. And so, introduction. I wanted to write this book because I truly believe through my story, I could help young girls find their strength, confidence, and the will to move forward in spite of their trauma, pain, brokenness, and loss of identity. This self-help book will be very beneficial and helpful. It will allow a person to look inside of themselves and realize that no matter how great the pain of loss you experience, damaging circumstances, and hopelessness you encountered, there is hope and redemption available to give aspiration to that single mother struggling to hold on through her pain to be able to keep pressing long enough to create a better place for herself and her children. That means giving up your own feelings to be able to see your children is more important than your circumstances, especially when you just want to crawl up somewhere to die because you believe that life would be better without you being around. Trauma is the response to a deeply distressing or disturbing event that overwhelms an individual's ability to cope, causes feelings of helplessness, diminish their sense of self, and their ability to feel the full range of emotions and experience. After an encounter, such a person normally would be told to give yourself time, ask for support, talk it over, and get into a routine. Yes, this sounds great, but does not always fit a person's way of coping and being able to get over it. As many can say, just get over it. I am qualified to help that one reading this because I was a person that experienced that great loss that left me devastated to the point of no return. hopeless, and broken. In this book, you will learn the power of transformation when one totally surrenders to Christ, to Jesus Christ, and allows him to guide you. You will learn to believe in his word and that he has the power to overcome all things. It was my lifeline that caused me to be an overcomer of trauma, single motherhood, and homelessness. As I searched for myself, I was totally convinced that all that was needed for my change to come forth was in the power that lies within. That is when the journey of transformation began. You will learn the power of believing in yourself, changing your mindset, making a commitment, and refusing to blame others for your incompleteness, and refusing to blame others for your completeness. Only then will you evolve into who you are destined to be. These scriptures are used to remind you through this journey and to give you power to stand on and trust this process of evolution of oneself. 2 Corinthians 5:17. Therefore, if anyone is in Christ, he is a new creature. The old has passed away. Behold, the new has come. Ezekiel 36:26. And I will give you a new heart and a new spirit I will put within you. And I will remove the heart stone from your flesh and give you a heart of flesh. Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good and acceptable and perfect. Philippians 1:6. And I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. Psalms 139:23-24. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any grievance way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. Chapter 1, Dream House. You could say it began with a phone call. It was so exciting, and my heart was racing as I picked it up, knowing who was on the other end. A tall 6'1", brown eyes, smiley smile, sexy smile, nice build. As I answered it and said hello, and he said, "What's up?" My heart dropped, breathing all fast as I was so nervous that he called. The conversation was short, mostly introducing ourselves, and then he asked me to meet him at the park. Pulling up at the park, he has these jeans, buttercream Tim boots, white tee, and camouflage armor coat. He got out the car all smiles. Instantly, his cologne hit my nose, and the scent was so captivating that it had me mesmerized. Only if you knew how he made me feel. We talked for hours about just everything, and before you knew it, time had come for us to depart. Then he asked, "Will I get to see you again?" And I answered, "Of course." To fast forward, we had been dating for a while, and we decided to move in together. It was a hot, sunny day. As we prepared to load up the truck with all the furniture boxes and our clothes, I can remember so happy that we were going to be under the same dwelling. As he unloaded the truck and put the things inside, he looked hot, sexy, and tired. After the furniture were nicely put away, we sat on the couch, cuddled up, enjoying a night of passion in our new home. We woke up the next morning still in each other's arms, looking at each other's eyes in awe. Whenever he was with me, he had this way of making me feel like it was all about me. He was very sexual and passionate whenever we were intimate with each other. The feeling I felt when I was in his presence was like no other. Felt like I could conquer anything when we were good, very attentive to my needs. We had this understanding relationship. but I also allowed him to be mentally and emotionally draining at times. Now I come to 1994, coming out of Hardee's. As I got into my car, a burgundy Honda Civic, as I got into my car, a burgundy Honda Civic, there was this guy in the car next to mine with an army fatigue coat, jeans, and again, buttercream Tim boots on, hollering, "What's your name?" at me. Looking at him like, why? But I went on to say my name, and he proceeds to say his name was V, but they called me Cool V. "Can I get your number?" I was hesitant at first, but what the heck? He was fine, so I gave him my number. I remember going home thinking about him, but he didn't call. We ended up running into each other again. We talked briefly, and then he said he lost the number. So crazy me gave it to him. I still at this time didn't realize who he was. We are in a very small town that everybody knows everybody. The next time I saw him was at a big party at National Guard Armory, where my best friend Keyshawn and I went to later be forced to leave due to a big fight that broke out with V, his homeboys, and some guys that were beefing with. Yes, you would think I would be like, he's not a person I need to get involved with, but sadly, we still hooked up with each other. To later find out we had many mutual friends. Before V, I was very outgoing, a people's person, good grades, had been playing basketball. Had been a basketball player since 7th grade. For my grades not to decline, I didn't play ball during my senior year, and I didn't hang out as much as I used to. V was a guy from the hood and was from the streets. All was new to me since I had never dated a street guy before. He was associated with a group who called themselves the Jungle Brothers, or JBs. He was very laid back, charismatic, and very good looking. Have I said that before? I don't know what drew me to him, because he could be very loud, talkative, and know it all. We came from two different backgrounds. I come from a very close family-oriented background. We had family gatherings, took family trips, and played games with one another. We supported one another. We cooked out together. We went to church regularly. We showed love by greeting with hugs, kissing, and communicating by saying we love each other often. As for V, he came from a dysfunctional home in which he and his mom argued at times. She struggled with drugs and alcohol. He had to survive and go for himself and his sister. He had dropped out of school. I fell madly in love with this guy. His smooth talk, smooth walk, smile, and swag were captivating. Even though I knew he was not right for me, I still went on with the relationship anyway. Many people tried to warn me not to date him at all. Sadly, his own family even tried to sway me into not engaging with him. He was my kryptonite. No matter how bad I tried to stay away from him, I was drawn into him. I was always going to his house, which was always a room full of guys listening to music, smoking weed, drinking, and just hanging around. I didn't even smoke or drink ever, but I just wanted to be in his presence. I would pull up, and some days there would be females also on the porch or in the house smoking with him as well. His house was the place to be. Didn't matter when you went, he would be the life of the conversation with his loud talking, endless laughs, excessive trash talking, and love for reggae, R&B, and hip-hop music blasting. Being this young, innocent, big-hearted, giving, and at times an insecure girl, this world with V was very intriguing. The more I needed to cut ties with him, the more I made it my business to show him I was that girl that he needed. I made it my business to show him I was that girl, that though that was short-lived. When you imagine a dream house, it's normally visualized as the house you see yourself living in, and it's all made perfect. the perfect size, interior decoration, furniture, and the layout. This dream house that I'd imagined with the love of my life, that I love unconditionally, end up not being so perfect as I dreamed it to be. This illusion became crystal clear that I realized that I could not continue to live like this and was taking steps to move on. Sometimes you believe if you could show a person how good you can be or cater to their needs, you have this sense that they can change because of you. This is not true. And many times we stay in unhealthy or toxic relationships because of this myth. Remember that you only can change yourself and have no control over others. They have to be willing to see their own flaws and lack of, and have the desires to be intentional about their own self-development. Chapter 2, Womanizer. Womanizer is defined as a man who engages in numerous casual sexual affairs with women. The Urban Dictionary describes a womanizer as men who are emotionally unavailable due to patterns of dysfunction in love, unpredictable, dishonest, high ego, charming, full of charisma, completely irresistible, extremely seductive. They hold your attention like nobody else, all out of an unconscious desire to prove constantly that they are real men by the number of conquests they can make. They need permanent external validation from different women, so they don't sense love with them, as they visualize them as objects to get attention or sex. They get terrified of women getting too close to them. This brings me to the time, as I said before, many females would be at V house on the porch as well as inside. Thinking back, I was so naive and believing that there was nothing to these females other than friendship and hanging out. Later to discover he was having sex with some of them as well. How crazy was that? Well, to say I allowed this unhealthy relationship to go on for 4 years, going through many nights of tears, heartaches, just pain to know the one you solely love and would do almost anything for, good or bad, was just not capable of being with just one female. I have so many stories of him getting caught, but it was always thrown off as, it's not like that, or we are just cool like that, he'll say. You just over-exaggerating and acting for no reason. Looking back, I stayed so long because I felt a piece of man is better than no man. Who can relate to that old saying? Reminds me of the words in the song After the Pain by Betty Wright. I know for my older ones, right about now, this song is playing in your head. How wrong was I to believe this illusion? But many women find themselves in this same situation too often. One time I caught him with another woman. It was about 7:30 p.m. in the evening, and I was driving down to his house. As I was turning into the complex, I recognized him at the neighborhood store as he went in. So I turned the car around to go to the store, pulled up beside the car. He came out of the store with this smirk on his face on seeing me. And of course, the question was, what's up? I was feeling like, who this girl you in the car with? He said, go ahead now. It's not like that. I will meet you in the house. I felt so embarrassed, but crazy me just left and drove to his house, waiting for him to come back. This was when I knew that I had to be crazy in love with him to allow this to happen and deal with it. It wasn't until much later that I realized this behavior was not normal, and I was worth more than he gave me in our time together. He had so much potential to do so much more, and I felt if I showed him unconditional love in such a way that he would want to live differently, maybe things would be different. He was always fighting internally. I remember him telling me stories about how he was going to die young, and he was tired of living this hard life. Seems like he would have wanted to do right by the relationship, but it was a side of him that he was just so used to being unfaithful because he didn't know how to be faithful. I thought I could change or save him. Here again, how wrong I was to think that was even possible. How many women stayed in the relationship because they thought if they loved the man enough and showed him that love was real and uncut longevity, that he would change his ways. Now we know that a person has to want to change on their own. It has nothing to do with or without you. Repeatedly, he showed me that he did not deserve me, but kept doing it for him anyway. I gave him money to just have in his pocket because he didn't work. I bought him clothes and shoes at times, even though he didn't directly ask me to do any of the acts of kindness. I still did because I thought that was what he needed. I let him drive my cars. He never had license, and he wrecked two of them, one of which was a brand new car. It was nothing for me to go without. So he would have. I would be without my car sometimes overnight, and how dare I be mad when he came back with it? Like nothing was even wrong with that. V was very controlling. At times he would ask me to do various activities, and if I didn't, he would get extremely mad. For example, he would ask me to drive his homeboys to do a job, and if I said no, he would make me feel obligated to do it by threatening to get one of his other females to do it, which then would make me change and agree to drive them because of my loyalty to him. Time has passed in our relationship, and I have now graduated high school. I left to go to college, and I was so excited to be attending Johnson C. Smith University. This excitement was short-lived because I ended up pregnant from fall break and had to make the decision to go back home at the end of my first semester. The shame and disappointment of being pregnant and having to come back home was so overwhelming. I remember being at V's house hanging out, and we were talking about the pregnancy. I found out that he was told he had two other females pregnant too. He was always saying that he didn't believe them. These females were girls I went to school with, and I knew them on a personal level. We all lived in the same city and the surrounding neighborhood. Just the thought that myself and two other women were pregnant at the same time, I was mad and upset that I allowed myself to be still connected. Normally, this would have been the reason to let this relationship go, but instead I stayed and settled to believe that maybe the other women were not pregnant for him. The information given to me was solely by him regarding the other females that were allegedly pregnant. So I made this illusion that it was all about him and I. He was my first real love, and the intimacy we shared was like no other to compare. He made me feel special. So in my mind, regardless, I am number one. I didn't focus on the others. In my world, we were just existing. At first, I was angry at the females because they knew about me and they still chose to get involved with him. That's how far gone mentally I was when it came to him. Instead of acknowledging the fact that he was the man and he was the one that should have control himself to not sleep around with other women, I felt he knew how much control he had over me. That was why he continued the behavior and assumed I would be right there regardless, even though I was the main chick and I was very generous, naive, and I treated all people the same. I didn't act a fool like I probably could have, and he knew that about me, so that's why he handled me in that way. I think he thought I was like other females he had dealt with, and he then realized that I was someone genuine and pure-hearted. He had moments when he was around the homeboys, he would ask you to do something, and if you didn't, he would talk very ugly at you in a nasty tone with name calling. On one on more than one occasion, he had done that to me. I didn't respond because I didn't want to deal with fighting in front of them. So I would just go with it. I internalized how I felt. The guys would ask me why I put up with his verbal abuse. One day he came home and he was upset about a situation that had happened. Normally everything would be good, but now he would start being short-tempered and talking at you like you were the problem. He got angry often and took it out on you instead of who or what made him mad. He fought you at times too when he was not able to have his way. The heart he had was big. I guess it was too big to love just one woman. Just one woman. He had to love many at once. Sadly to say, this was shown more often through our relationship, to the point that he would ride women in my cars. I was told many times by various people that witnessed him cheating, but of course, I didn't believe it or do anything about it. I stayed involved to the point people would just stop telling me anything they heard or saw because they saw how I tolerated the behavior when it came to being with him. He really broke the mold for any other man that I got involved with because I gave my heart totally to him. And it's never been possible to give to another. He also had a very flirtatious spirit as well, and a few times he would be all in a girl's face, being in this way right in front of me, like I wasn't even there. He would throw it off again on me as if it were me being sensitive and overacting about it. Just like that, I would act as if I didn't see it. This behavior was so often that I just stopped addressing him about it because I knew at that time I was not going to do anything different about him doing it. I see now that the longer I stayed, I was teaching him that he could do almost anything and I would still be there for him. To stay as long as I did in this relationship was because I thought that I could not do better. Just the thought of letting him go and not being able to be with him made me emotional. I was drawn into him so much that the more he did, the more I just had to be there. I would do whatever I could to be in his presence. So that meant doing some not so good things. The night that stands out the most was when I drove 3 of his homeboys to rob some guys. Couldn't believe I was looking for love in all the wrong places and reasons. I didn't know what I was more deserving than just accepting what I was getting. Forgetting myself was a big step. It took me to really say, girl, I forgive you for all the crazy decisions you made. Financially, all those times that I was not disciplined and spending unnecessary money on trips taken or for items that really could have waited. But because it was a time I was living for others and having an image I thought I needed to keep up, even for my children, especially around Christmas time, forgiving myself that my marriage failed and that it was okay. It didn't define me as a person. I had to keep telling myself this one because it would often come up and try to keep me stuck. Forgive myself for us going into the shelter. Once I was okay with this and own my truth, I was able to move forward. I was able to see myself heal and feel good about who I was and who I was becoming. My prayer life got stronger, and I learned how to depend on God and allow him to guide and lead me, attending church regularly and going to Bible study, learning the word in such a way that I can be practical about applying it to my daily walk. Scriptures that I stood on through these times were Philippians 3:13. Brothers, I do not consider that I made it my own, but one thing I do, forgetting what lies behind and straining forward to what lies ahead. 1 John 1:9, of course, the ESV version. If we confess our sins, he is faithful and just to forgive us from our sins and to cleanse us from all unrighteousness. Although I spoke about the importance of counseling because I needed it multiple times through my journey and during my healing process. I needed it. I went to therapy at first. I was going for a weekly visit where I just shared all my feelings and emotions that I was experiencing. Going to a counselor was a very big deal and is often looked down upon because of our background that only crazy people go. Also, that you don't need to be telling people your business. But to be honest, I was so glad that I allowed myself to be okay with it. As you read this, I hope to inspire you to go if you feel the need to. It will be the best decision you can make. You can love God, read the word, be anointed, and still go to counseling. This does not make you less saved or anointed. My counselor gave me practical activities to do that made me become aware of feelings I had suppressed so deeply inside. I started journaling to help me get out of my feelings, which I really enjoyed, and it helped a lot to be able to just get it out and not feel overwhelmed about the emotions. Before I would make any major decisions, I would have to ask myself some questions to see if I really needed it at the time or not. How would this decision affect the family? Is this something that is really needed at this time? Is this something that you can do without? As I went through my healing process, each day I was getting stronger and wiser. I was feeling better about who I was becoming, and I was not interested in what others thought about me. Each day it became easier and stronger as I was intentional about being better. I recognized that I was in total control of my life. And if I did not like the direction it was going, I was the only person that could change it. So I started showing up for myself like I had done for so many others. This allowed me to tap into my superpowers and face my fears and become fearless, courageous, and bold. This was the key to my transformation. The 3 A's: acknowledgement of all that I had encountered, accepting my reality, and adjustments necessary, embracing who I was becoming. Evolve. As I was evolving, I realized I needed to surround myself with people who would challenge me to think differently. You realize that it's more to life than playing it safe. Being your children's mother, being someone's spouse, going to a job that is unfulfilling. God has a divine purpose for your life, and now it's time for you to discover what might be. My pivot point was when I attended a G Women's Sisterhood North Carolina meetup, and I was introduced to a community called Grindation, and I ended up getting plugged in. It consisted of men and women that were like-minded and were tired of living mediocre in life and business. This challenged me to really level up my life in the 4 core areas: family, faith, finance, and fitness, in such a way I could not make excuses and be lazy anymore about living less than. It was about putting 100% effort toward those areas. We had daily motivational calls that addressed various topics, and you witness people grinding and creating a new level of accountability. This community caused the elevation of my greatness that was laying dormant. I would start waking up early and making sure I was getting better with having a consistent devotion life, setting goals for myself in each area. So in my finance, I made the goal not to create any more new debt, pay my current bills on time, start saving and having a budget that I would follow, refusing to live from paycheck to paycheck, and educating myself on finance. As for my faith, I was going to study and read the Bible more, increase my prayer life, and stay connected with other believers that were also growing spiritually. Not just talking about faith and what the word says I could do, but really living in such a way. My fruit was showing what I believe in my actions. For my fitness, I started walking and eating healthier. I stopped drinking sodas, increased my water intake daily, started taking natural supplements, which was also a tool used to lose weight and make better, healthy choices. I am happy to say I lost 43 pounds and lost lots and lots of inches. And I gained it all back. Let me stop. Lost the weight. I am happy to, I went from wearing a size 18-20 to 12-14. Due to the weight loss, I became more confident and felt amazing about myself. When I see myself now, I see this beautiful, sexy, powerful, stunning, and captivating woman. And this has nothing to do with how others see me, because this is me being okay with all of Tonya. This also caused me to stop dimming my light because it causes other people to be uncomfortable. This was a problem that I had with me. My support system is made up of sisters that saw when my stuff was messed up and still would love me enough to tell me about myself, but covered me through prayer and encouragement until I came to realize what I needed to do to get out of my situation that was not producing any good thing. For me, all this caused me to really walk in purpose, and I started encouraging others to be dedicated in their own personal development through a platform. Make sure I got this right. Did I skip a page, y'all? Okay. I just want to make sure. Dedicate their own personal development through a platform on Facebook called Smiley Praise. I insisted in airing live on every Wednesday night at 8 o'clock for Wisdom Wednesday. Sharing my story and interviewing others on different topics that make us think and challenge us to advance in all areas of our life. It grew from 10 viewers to hundreds, sometimes 1,000 viewers, and I felt really great about the accomplishment I had made and the progress that had taken place. Being very passionate about helping others and encouraging them to be their authentic selves. Being very informative about community awareness, community involvement, and celebrating all the great accomplishment of others and sharing positive influences. I have accomplished stability with my employment for 13 years, been a homeowner for 15 years, been attending an active membership and participation with the same church for 14 years. I came into a place where I had start taking care of myself. I recognized I was strong, resilient, valuable woman of God. No more me living defeated, depending on others to make me feel good or enabling men. Maximize every opportunity that presents itself. Now it's your time to reflect on all you have been through and acknowledge it. Accept that it happened. Now give yourself permission to learn from it and move forward. Your past does not define you, and at this moment, you can decide to not be a victim, but a victor. Just like that, you can walk in victory, power, dominion, and authority by deciding to show up for yourself. Forgive yourself and forgive others so you will not continue to keep yourself bound. Simplicity is the key. We make life complicated. Either you believe that you can or not. You have the keys to how your story ends. It's all about knowing that you are worthy, and that makes me think of a quote by Mel Robbins. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Rise. Everyone then who hears these words of mine and does them would be like a wise man who built his house on the rock. And the rain fell, and the floods came, and the winds blew and beat that house, but it did not fall because it had been founded on the rock. Matthew 7:24-25. Reflecting on a time that God took an ordinary situation and allowed something extraordinary to happen. It only can be explained that God did it. At this time, I was working at a doctor's office as a receptionist, in which I was only getting paid $8 an hour. So I decided that I was going to take advantage of my stay at the shelter and get my credit score in order so I could have an opportunity to buy a house. I know you thinking, how are you going to buy a house by making $8 an hour? It was very difficult, and it took me almost 2 years to do it. This will show you that it does not make a difference what odds are against you. When you make a solid commitment to achieve a task, it will be accomplished. I had to get very serious and disciplined in my finances. My first step was to get a copy of my credit report to have an ideal of what was on it and exactly my credit score. Once I knew what I was working with, I took the lowest amounts I owed first and paid them off. Then I worked on the larger amount owed little by little until all were paid off. Then I would have to have savings for my down payment or any other expenses that I would need to take care of. I took a lot of sacrifice of not eating out, going out on doing different activities with my kids. I had to find ways to entertain my children that did not require money. So we would go to the library, check out books and videos to watch. We would go to the park and play. There were moments during this process of getting my finance in order that got very hard, and I felt like giving up. In those times, I had to keep reminding of why I made this commitment in the first place. I took a picture of the house and I posted it everywhere, like my car, my room, my desk at work. Every time I felt like I could not do this, I would look at the house and my children and say, I have no other option but to see this through to the end. Well, I paid all that was on my credit report and I had $1,000 in my savings. Now it was time to go to the bank and apply for the loan. The process felt like it was never going to end. The loan officer always seemed to have needed another form filled out and needed additional information. It got to be very frustrating and just seemed like it was not going to happen for me. Through this process, it made my prayer life more active and I learned how to trust God. I stood on the scripture Proverbs 3:5-6. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. In all thy ways acknowledge him and he shall direct thy path. I was saying I do not believe God would bring me this far to leave me now. There were times that people doubted that I was going to accomplish it. Even my mom got discouraged at one point. Therefore, you have to know your vision, see your vision despite you, and stay faithful to the plan. Weeks and days went by and I finally got that call from the loan officer that my application was approved. I was so happy that day when I heard those words. I screamed, hollered, and cried. On May 5th, 2005, I signed my contract and received the keys to a brand new $100,000 home, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 1,602 square feet, and a half an acre land. When I tell you that no matter how hard life gets, no matter what others' opinion of you are, no matter what it looks like, no matter how long it takes, if God made you a promise, you can best believe it shall come to pass. I witnessed it with my own eyes, where all odds were against me. God did it. I give all glory and honor to him. I could do this. If I could do this, so can you. Never give up on your dreams, hopes, and aspirations, because whatever you set your mind to, it's possible to achieve it. So unless commitment is made, there are only promises and hopes, but no plans. The feeling of knowing that I decided to accomplish a thing and took the necessary steps to bring it into reality. The first step is knowing that you are capable. Step out of yourself and see the end in mind. All that you need is inside of you. Just activate it by applying all you know and what you don't know. You ask and you push until you accomplish all you set out to do. Remember, believe in yourself, even when people don't believe in you. Be consistent in your process to achieve your goal, because inconsistency will cause you to doubt and not be disciplined. This journey of mine has definitely had moments I am not proud of, and as I evolve, I know it is just part of who I am. My truth that I have accepted and have forgiven myself, and now I recognize that was all to equip me for my divine purpose on earth. How could I come now to speak to you if I didn't experience my difficulties as well as my victories? I never knew or imagined that I was going to be a mouthpiece for such a time as this. So remember, it's not about how you start the journey or even the journey in between. It is all about how you embrace it and where you are at the end of it. Continue to push and move forward. Don't get stuck in the places that are out of your control. Surround yourself with people that won't allow you to give up or have a pity party about shortcomings, but the ones that will keep telling you how important you are and how you are needed, and that through it all, you will succeed. When times get difficult and you feel yourself slipping to the point that you want to throw in the towel, that's when you have to show up even the more. That's when you have to give it 100% of yourself daily. You have to make the necessary adjustments and be your biggest encourager and cheerleader. You have to know that if you don't show up for you, no one else will. Stop saying to yourself that you are not able to get it done, and start saying to you, will it get, we'll get it done. Even when the only option you have to do it is doing it scared. Once you have made the commitment to accomplish all you have set yourself out to do, then there is no turning back. I recognize I was fearless, and being fearless made me bold, more direct in approach, and being more and more confident in who I am. You will have moments that will take you on an emotional roller coaster of being up and down and stopping to moving again, and you will feel like you will not get through it and give up. But I am here to let you know this is normal, and when this happens, I need you to dig deeper inside, but more intentional, and think of all the reasons that you have to get through this, and that someone is in dire need of what you have so they can achieve their purpose in life. All of us have a tribe that is only connected to us. And if we don't get in position and do our part, they may be aborted. So your life story is always much bigger than you and what you got going on. You are someone's puzzle piece to be able to help them walk through their divine purpose in life. All you have been through has nothing to do with you, but with all who you are supposed to help along this life journey. Woo. I hope that that causes you to read the whole book. So at this time, I guess any questions, comments. I thank y'all. Woo. Nobody got no question for? Okay. Yes. Oh yeah. For my man. Yeah. Mm. Mm-hmm. The grace of God. Good. Woo. Yes. Absolutely. Absolutely. And as I was reading it at night, it's like crazy. Like, wow. What in the world was I thinking about? So, I know a lot of people say that, like, really, Tanya? But yeah. So I think another reason why I think I wrote this book is because a lot of people look at you and think you got it all together. They think you just made it, but I just really wanted people to see, like, oh, y'all ain't seen nothing. I just gave y'all some some pieces. Yes, sir. Uh-oh. Uh-huh. I know. Okay. So of course, it's a tragedy that happens in the book. I don't want to kind of go into it, but but it does. It happens, and that's So it no, it took that tragedy. Yep. For me to, you know, and I don't know. I'm getting grace and God. I have asked myself sometimes, you know, it could have been me and not him, you know. And look, God, why you spared my life? But now I see, so I can stay back to tell a story. Yeah. So as y'all was listening, could any of y'all relate of any of the parts? Like a stone, absolutely. Um, oh yeah. So I pray that y'all, and the ones that are gonna be looking and that look at the live and then y'all go back, I pray that y'all, get the book, um, and really get to see the whole story. It's very, I've been told that you don't want to put it down as you continue to read. Okay. Absolutely. No, we cannot. Nobody, y'all. Y'all can't change it. You can't change nobody. Women or female, man or woman, you can't change them. Sure. Absolutely. You, Mr. LaShawn, you was saying?
Yeah, so I was just listening and I was processing the book through the male character.
Come on. Yes.
And even though I can't personally relate to him, but to me it's very clear that the same deficit that you had, he also had.
Yes.
But as a man, he knew how to coerce, he knew how to manipulate the situation more so than you did.
Yes.
And so the book, your hurt, your pain rises to the top, but so does his.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times when we don't have an identity in Christ, our identity becomes who people describe us to be.
Absolutely.
So as you never try to prescribe an identity onto him, he gave you an identity.
Ooh. Good.
You played out what he asked you to be. And he played out who he thought he was.
Mm.
But it was, yeah, I really thank you for reading it.
Thank y'all for that. I know, right? Anybody else? Any questions? Anybody on, I guess, on live, y'all can put it in the chat or somebody can look at the question if chat was rolling. Wow. I'm just grateful. Like, I'm still in awe that I'm before y'all. Very humble, very humble. Um, many people want to tell a story, want to buy a house, want to start the business, and they never start. They never get, and so I don't take this moment lightly. I'm very grateful that I answer the call, and because I answer, I hope that y'all will answer and that continue to answer, and so we can continue to create our narrative. Because a lot of times people make narratives for you, but we need to make our own narratives. So all of y'all got a story. Everybody got a book, so even if you don't write it for the world, you write it for the person that you just know need to see it. You need to hear it, and God will give you that opportunity. I promise you. Stop. We make this thing difficult. Like I said, it's simplicity. And so, I just hope that this really gets people to be inspired to the point, no matter who the president that's about to come up in here, and all that's been taking place in the world doesn't stop that you still had purpose when you was in your mother's womb. And so regardless of what's going on, we still need you to show up, because I still got some evolving to do. Hope you still have some evolving to do. So if y'all ain't in position, I'm missing my piece. And I need y'all to give me my piece so I can move to the next, So with that being said, go. Yes. 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 One that part. Yes. They will. That's that part. It is. Yes. Mhm. I appreciate that. I appreciate, and as I was reading, I said I need to read this book again because it encouraged me, especially the evolve, the her chapter, just with some stuff that's going on now, and remind yourself, y'all, these are levels of these things, right? This is a journey. Even from 2020, writing this is so much that has taken place and evolved, even the more. Yeah. Part two. That's what they say. Evolve. And I also, I want to take this time to again give God all the glory for all his many blessings. But this year is my 20 years I've been in my home. So May 5th, 2025, y'all. And it ain't been easy. It ain't, so it don't, the dream might come true, but you still got a journey. I'm here to say 20 years of, I did a bankruptcy. I almost had foreclosure. Because sometimes we always show the good. Hey, I need you to know that it was ugly. It didn't come easy. But I'm still standing to today. Sometimes we have to, sometimes go back to say, man, I made that. I did that. Because sometimes we hard on ourselves. We so get caught up in the challenges and circumstances and situations that we forget what we did. So sometimes, like my girl Kalana has reminded me, sometimes you gotta go back and remember. You gotta remember, oh, he did that. Oh, he did that. What am I tripping for? Same God. Same God. He did it then, he gonna do it again. $8, y'all. Listen. And it's some people making more than that, and it's like, I can't even. They won't even just start the process. You know what I'm saying? They won't even start the process. So I say to you out there, start the process. Start the process. Woo! And I think that's.
Well, I hope you all have enjoyed.
Yes. Absolutely.
It has been awesome. Thank you again, Tonya, for sharing your story. And this is actually a very great thing you have here, Fonte, because you are giving people an opportunity to come and share your life story, even if it's not your life story, just if you can make up stories and it seems real. That's good too, you know, because you got a good imagination. And so as I was sharing with, what's your name again? Because I forgot your name. Felicia. I'm bad with names. I'm sorry. Felicia, that I believe that all of us have a story, and that we should share it, because you never know, just by looking at the person, you never know what they have experienced. We look at people and we think they got it going on, and we do not know. And so when we do see they fail, then we're disappointed at the expectations and the visions that we put on them. But we didn't know that they were going through a lot of stuff. And so that I put that on myself, because I've done that. I've seen people who I thought had it going on, and when things didn't seem right, then I was like, what? Like, you know, just thrown back. But then again, it was good, because then I could realize that, hey, I'm not the only one that mess up. I'm not the only one that have mistakes. I'm not the only one that's stuck and done some crazy things. You're not alone. But at the same time, like, we got accountability. We got our tribe. We got people to keep us encouraged. And we have to keep each other encouraged so that we can continue to go to the next step. And so, Fonte, thank you so much for the opportunity, allowing us to do this. And so next month, we have Shanita Scott. Would you please stand? She will be here. Unless the location changes, we will be back here on next month, second Thursday of the month, again from 6:30 to 8:30. Come early, get you a little something to eat, mingle, and then we'll get right into the reading. So we're so excited about hearing your book next month. And so again, we thank Fonte Laos Media Group with the community book reading. Also, book club. Also, if you know of anyone who has a book, please tag them, share that this is what we're doing, so we can pack out this place. So it is starting to, you know, it's getting bigger each time. So just tell people about it. And again, come back out on next month, second Thursday of the month, 6:30, 8:30, and we'll see you then. So peace out. Love you much.